So it has a brew. I also have some Cadbury's mini eggs, which it isn't actually Easter at the moment, but they've been selling them since January, because UK shopping's absolutely fucking ridiculous. So I've got myself a Rode video mic, just a standard one. I'm going to see what it's like. I'm not going to hold up much hope because my camera decides it wants to add loads of noise to to audio for some bizarre reason. No matter what mic you use, it's two problems: either the jack's fucked, or the internal microphone's crap as well, or maybe there's some weird audio processing going on in there. But it does seem to add loads of noise. So I've got a backup mic, my usual mic as well, just in case, and I'm going to mess around and see what it's like. But it also means things are just going to be a lot easier to film round and about. So, and I might also do a review on it later on. So let's get straight into some news, because there's not really anything else to talk about. So Mark Zuckerberg is apparently, well, not apparently quoted as saying, he has said, confused and frustrated by US spying. He wrote a ridiculously long kind of blog post on Facebook about US and spying and things like that. So yeah, the actual quote that's kind of most relevant in the entire post is, "This is why I'm so confused and frustrated by the repeated reports of the behaviour of the US government. When our engineers work tirelessly to improve its security, we imagine we're protecting against criminals, not our own government." Actually, that's quite. I mean, I don't really have a lot of time for Mark Zuckerberg because I think he's a bit of a wanker, but he does speak a lot of truth in that, and it's kind of quite interesting. It'll be interesting to see where things go from there in terms of reform, because I don't think... I mean, obviously the US government and the UK can't get away with doing that kind of stuff anymore. At least they can't get away with it being leaked. So they can get away with doing it, because, you know, they'll just do it in secret. But it might bring a lot more things to light, especially MPs that are going to get backhand deals and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out. Obviously, a lot more people are now starting to get pissed off with it. It's in mainstream media, things like that. Obviously, people have already known this kind of stuff's been happening for years and years and years anyway. But the fact that it's now in actual proper in the open against, you know, and all the members of the public can actually see what's going on with it, it's kind of really interesting. And I'm hoping that we see a decline in mass surveillance, because we don't need it and it's not necessary. And yeah, I know it's like all tinfoil hat and let's wear a collar on our heads, but it's just it bothers me, because it wouldn't be so bad if everybody was competent and everybody was legal and it didn't matter. You know, if we lived in a society where people were really switched on and, you know, everybody got warrants and everybody was legal, and you know, that would be fine. You know, we probably wouldn't even need things like that. But the fact of the matter is, we've got other humans controlling things like this. They've got ulterior motives. They could suddenly turn around one day and say, "Oh, I don't like Aaron Philpott. Let's go and, you know, put some wiretap on his phone or something like that." And something that I say or do could be misconstrued as being illegal, or, you know, illegal in the future. And I don't want to live in a society like that. I want to be able to live in a free, open, democratic society where I can walk about without the fear of being surveilled, unless I'm up to no good. Of course, you know, if you're doing, you know, stupid stuff, you're doing stuff that's illegal, if you're making some sort of evil plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament, then yes, fair enough, you do deserve to be surveilled. But in a legal way, by going through the courts, not by just mass surveillance of innocent parties, because that's not the way you do things. So the other thing that happened was Google slashes its Google Drive prices. Google Drive, now you can get a terabyte of Google Drive storage for $10 a month, which is stupidly cheap. Dropbox, I think, is quite expensive. I think it's about $50 for a terabyte a month, which is quite a lot. Google used to be that much. I think it's now, for 100 terabytes, you have to pay $100 for 100 terabytes, which actually isn't bad. Obviously, this is from a individual standpoint. I don't think this is from a business Google Drive standpoint, but I'm not too sure. They've even undercut their own Google Cloud service, so they've got like an AWS kind of alternative, but they've undercut that as well. So you can use Google Drive cheaper than you can use their own cloud service, which is interesting. The thing is, I still will never pay for Google Drive, because I mean, I use Google Drive for free sometimes. It's really handy. I've got a Chromebook now. It's really handy for typing things up. And for sharing, collaborating, it's really great for that, because not everybody has Office 365. I mean, obviously, if you work for a company that's a little bit different, then that's that's fair enough, fine. But for us, little people that are just collaborating with other people on things, Google Drive is fantastic for that. I won't ever pay for it because I don't want to give money to Google when they're already using the data that they collate from people to. For advertising, I don't want to give any money to that kind of stuff. I mean, I know it's really, I don't like the way that Google's going at the moment. Obviously, Google own all this data, and because it's Google, it doesn't matter so much because Google are, for all intents and purposes, quite a nice company. But they could turn around one day and decide that they just want to go evil and do whatever the hell they want with our data. I mean, it's kind of like Facebook in a kind of way, but it kind of better because it's not Facebook. It's interesting. I try not to use Google services in terms of. I mean, I use Google Email, although I might turn back to Outlook.com because Outlook.com's interface is crap. The interface is crap and the service is rubbish, but it doesn't. Microsoft made a big thing about it's all private and we're not going to give. We're not going to use your emails to find out. How to better improve our advertising revenue, which is good. The other thing that happened I think it actually happened on the Tuesday, which is the day that Brew came out, or maybe even Wednesday after it came out. But the World Wide Web was 25 years old this week, or last week. This is the World Wide Web and not the Internet, which is a lot of bloody idiots were saying. Even I think Microsoft even tweeted it was the Internet, which is like, for Christ's sake, no. The Internet is much older than the World Wide Web. The Internet was originally set up by Department of Defense, and then from there it kind of then got developed into the World Wide Web so that everybody could have interconnectivity and stuff. And the Internet is interconnectivity, but somebody then found a way of creating all the World Wide Web and servers and all the stuff we have today, websites and all that kind of stuff, and it's really, really cool. And Tim Berners-Lee is one of the pioneers for that. British bloke, obviously, because the Americans won't be able to do anything like that; they'll fuck it up. The other thing that's happened is Asus have decided that they could drop the dual OS devices that feature both Android and Microsoft 8, Windows 8, because they're having a lot of pressure from Google and from Microsoft to not do it. I think it's a real shame if that happens because it does give customers a choice. It gives customers the ability to decide whether or not they want to go with Android or Windows 8, and it depends on what you're going to be using the tablet for. I think the majority of people are going to be going for Google and Android because it's going to be easier to use and stuff. But then you're going to get the odd geek that might want to have both or want to have Windows 8 because they want to be able to use Microsoft Word and things like that, Office kind of packages. But the other thing, was it Hawaii or ZTE or something like that, are going to now start shipping devices that are going to have Android and Windows 8 as well, Windows Phone 8 even. Yeah, Windows 8 phone? Windows 8? What it's called now? Windows Phone 8, I think. Anyway, whatever the current iteration of Windows Phone is, they're going to start shipping dual devices like that, which is really cool. Microsoft and Google are obviously having this bit of a turf war over, this, that, and the other. Android is annoyingly going towards the more closed ecosystem, which I'm not liking. Because obviously Android started off really, really open. And then it's kind of closed down. The actual Android, the background of Android, so its operating system, its core, is open source. The other bits that come around it, so Google Apps, Google Play Store, all that other kind of stuff, is proprietary to Google. And so when you're doing custom ROMs and stuff, although you can get these apps kind of illegally, the people that are developing the ROMs and the custom stuff don't generally bundle that, especially CyanogenMod. They don't bundle Google stuff because Google turned around and said, oh, well, you can't do that because that's in violation of our, whatever. I don't quite know why, but there was some court order that basically CyanogenMod decided, we're told by Google not to do it, and they've kind of decided not to release Google Apps with CyanogenMod. It's kind of annoying that CyanogenMod are also being bought out by somebody else, so I've got a load of investors now. It's good because CyanogenMod could move forwards and become really good, but it also could mean that CyanogenMod is then ruined because it's then trying to be and compete with Android and other smartphone OSs. And it's already got a phone out, which is quite cool. I don't know, the specs aren't that great, I don't think, and it looks a little bit shit. So it's really great to see CyanogenMod get to the stage where it can make money and it can, have investors and stuff. But I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit skeptical about it because the guys at CyanogenMod really are great, but they might then have ulterior motives because of money and everything else, and money always ruins things. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. That completely goes off the tangent for the Asus thing, but yeah, that's kind of quite interesting. Chromecast Android app seems to be prepared for upcoming international release. So for a minute, the Chromecast is only available in the US, and I mean you can get it in the UK and you can run it in the UK, but it's all just US content and it's kind of a little bit shit, because you can buy it in the UK for 30 quid, which is not bad. You can get it from Zavvi, I think, for 35 quid, and you can get it from like random eBay shops, like official eBay shops, as opposed to those shitty ones that seem to like shit from China and a little bit dodgy, for about 30 quid as well. Yeah, so there looks like they might be having an international thing reasonably soon. There was talk of it being kind of round about now. The beginning of March was their initial ETA, and then they've kind of just turned around and said, well, now we're not going to give you an ETA for a minute because we're not too sure. Obviously, it will come out internationally because they would be silly not to. And the Chromecast is I think it's going to be more popular than things like the Google TV that they brought out. But I don't know, because you've already got things like Roku. Well, last week we discussed the new Roku stick, which I stupidly didn't even say that it was a new Roku stick. I just said, I said it was a new Roku stick that never existed before, but it was an updated version of the Roku stick that was a cheaper price, which I was fucking stupid because I was tired and I obviously didn't even bloody complete my thought pattern was obviously effed for some bizarre reason. Yeah, so that Chromecast will be quite interesting. And the only last thing to end on really is Amazon's getting potential games console. They've kind of leaked some images, which you can see. Whoops, you can see them behind me. That's the controller, and I'll put a thing somewhere over here as well. The controller kind of looks a little bit shit. It looks like it's really cheap and nasty. I mean, if it is any prototype, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But I don't know. I mean, Amazon creating a games console would be really interesting. It wouldn't surprise me because obviously they've got their own tablet now, and they've got loads of other things. They're doing lots of R&D for tons of stuff. They've obviously they bought out Love Film, and now they're offering streaming services to Prime members in the UK and the US and other places as well, which is really good. I have Amazon Prime, and I mean it's annoying that they're putting the price up and not giving you the option to have to add on video streaming for an extra so many quid a month, so many quid a year, because it's now 79 quid as opposed to 59. I don't know, but I think it's gone up by about 20 quid a year, which isn't bad. I mean, I pay for Amazon Prime because it's just such a good service. I've ordered so many things off of Amazon that it's really handy to be able to have courier service, and for me to be able to get it next day. I mean, especially for business customers as well. If I need to order like, I don't know, 100 patchly. I mean, eBay does a similar sort of thing, but you do have to pay. You have to pay for the next day delivery every time you order. Whereas with Amazon you don't, and I've always found their stuff really good. I tend to find the next day isn't always next day, and if they decide to like ship it via like My Herms, which they do sometimes, it always usually ends in tears. But if it does it via DPD or maybe not the Royal Mail, they're a bit shit, but UPS, DHL, all the big ones, their postal services are pretty damn good. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Amazon goes forwards with the console thing, because it looks interesting. I think it's going to be shit because it's going to be cheap and it's going to be nasty, and it's probably going to be running Android, and it's going to be like a New Year maybe. So it might not take off, but it depends upon what else they bundle with it. Because obviously they're going to have things like Amazon streaming service. They're probably going to have some apps. They're probably going to create their own app store, and you're probably going to be able to do some Amazon-y stuff in there as well. So yeah, that's kind of quite interesting. We'll see how that kind of pans out. There is literally nothing else to really say in terms of news. I have bought myself a Peli case, finally, or Peli Storm case, which is effing brilliant. I might do a review of that, I'm not too sure. But the other thing I did want to mention was the company that I ordered it from, called Sam Cases. I'll put a link in the description below. effing brilliant service. Like, they're stupidly cheap. For the Pellicase Storm, which is I am 2,500, yeah, I'm 2,500 for 130 quid, which included free next day delivery. And like, you wouldn't believe, I ordered it Sunday evening, and it came. I think it came Monday, actually. It was literally, it was stupid. It was just so quick. And I was just like, what? And their guys are fantastic. It's just, but when you go to their website, they kind of like, looks like it's really unprofessional. And you can't find anything, information about SAM cases. It's like, oh, well, is this a bit dodgy? But actually, their service is fantastic. So go and check that out if you're looking for a Pelly case. I know Pelly cases are very expensive, but they are very, very worth it. They've got a lifetime warranty. And yeah, I'm fed up now of having to replace my luggage, my carry-on bag every 2-3 months, because the wheels get fucked because I go to and from the station on Plymouth roads and pavements and stuff. And so I actually think I might need to get a bigger Pelly case, because the current Pelly case I've got is a little bit small and it bounces from wheel to wheel because it's too small. So when you're walking along, it's really fucking frustrating. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. I will be doing a competition when I reach 1,000 subscribers, which is coming close. It's still, I think, teetering around a little bit under 900 at the moment. So hopefully we can get that up. The subscriber base has kind of slowed down. I used to get 1 subscriber a day, and now it's slowing down to maybe 1 or 2 a week. So I think that might be because I'm not doing anything other than just brew time. So I do need to pull my finger out and do some videos. But again, it's having the time. I'm only up in Plymouth at the weekends, which is really annoying. I do have an interview next Tuesday, so hopefully I get a permanent job. And once I get a permanent job, I will, and it'll take a couple of months, and then I will have my own place, which will be fantastic. It might though mean I might have to put brew time on hold for a couple of months whilst I get my shit together, because I'm going to have to get rid of this place and probably stay at my parents for a couple of months to save up for a deposit and for things to go in my house. So, yeah, but that's pretty much it. I do have a Chromebook as well, which I need to review on. Yeah, just probably much an internal monologue. So I'm going to eat my mini eggs, and I'm going to drink my brew, and I shall catch you in a later video.